Hello, everyone. Well, I just came on like a minute before 11 because I wanted to test the camera and see if I look all right. The face is the face is looking okay. It's bright enough. Hello. Let's see how I can do this. Can I get some thumbs up or oh. Okay. So I have started this live video. Hi. How is everybody doing? I just wanted to test and see if it looks okay. If I can get some thumbs up or, some likes, just so that I know you're with me. But let me introduce myself, please. My name is Abel, and I'm very, very happy to be doing this live video with all of you. I know that we have the computer between us, and when I do events, I really enjoy feeling energies of people. Hi. I really like to, feel the energy of the people and see how you are and be interactive. But it's difficult to do that. So I will try my best to be as friendly and warm and confident as possible. Now, I'm going to separate today's 30-minute chat into two segments, okay? So the first segment, and I did this in my notebook here, it's an umbrella, a communications umbrella. So under the umbrella of communications, one side of the umbrella, I'm going to be talking about how to become a better presenter and how to come across warm, friendly, genuine, and to deliver the message that you want to deliver. So that's the first 15 minutes that I'm going to do. And then the second 15 minutes is going to be about empathy and self-compassion because my other line of work is holistic communications coaching. And that part of the segment, which is the latter 15 minutes of the segment, is going to be more about motivational. It's going to be, I'm going to be asking you questions about, how you're feeling right now is because we're in this, quarantine lifestyle. And it's going to be a little bit different. So the first 15 segments, once again, if you just joined, is going to be about presenting and how to be a great presenter, as my background is a news anchor and also a travel show host, which I have done, which is over the cameras. And then I also host events as an MC, which is master of ceremony with live audiences. And this is obviously like the fourth type of communications, which is doing webinars and doing these live chats. So welcome, hello everybody. I'm very, very happy once again to see you. I'm Abel. So I'm gonna get started. Now, do you have a notebook and a pencil ready? Because I want this to be as interactive as possible. And I hope that everything is, going fine. You're seeing me all right. Now, as a presenter, I have been doing this for almost 15 years, and I started to do news presenting 15 years ago, and it was taped news. So I learned a lot through failing. I learned a lot through not speaking correctly, not saying people's names correctly, especially Thai last names, which is very difficult to say. And I always receive feedback from people on how to say something, how to present it. And one thing that I did is before I even start anything, I did research. I always do research. I always like to find out how other people do it. So I go and watch CNN and I look at the anchors and I observe how they present, how they talk. And I try to copy. I try to copy the way that they talk. Where do they pause? Where do they speak faster? Where do they start to hi, Guy. Where do they start to, flow without thinking? So first, you have to ask yourself, who's your audience? So my audience today are parents of Headstart, and parents are obviously people who I can, have an intellectual conversation with. So I'm not going to be using baby languages. And of course, I have to tell you what is, the idea, what is exactly that you are trying to get out from listening to me. And that is to become a better presenter, to be more engaging. Now, first of all, I want to ask you to smile. I hope that you're smiling now. Can you see me? One thing that we forget when we are so nervous, when we're like in our heads, is we forget to smile. We forget to smile to the audience, to the people who are watching us. And that is just a very simple, I know it's common sense, but people forget to do it because they're frozen. They're so scared because like all these eyes are looking at you and you feel maybe very self-aware, very anxious, nervous, you're scared of judgment. And when you're on stage, you have to remember to just be, to be yourself and to smile at others. So please smile at yourself and smile at me, even though I can't really see you. And share that human side of you to the people. And when people are thinking about communications, they automatically think speaking. They think, oh, Abel must speak a lot. She must be, always talking. And actually, I'm more an introvert. I, of course, can perform and I can speak and I can do it on point and I can do it flowingly, but I listen more. So when I say, first of all, you research your audience, you know who your audience is, you have to try to understand, okay, what would they like to hear? So I asked Guy today, actually, he told me that he's interested in presenting skills, how to be a better presenter online. And so because this is something that I think people are more interested in, I decided to lead with presenting skills first. So you listen to what your audience want, what your audience need, and you try to understand what it is that they want. It's not about you enjoying your own voice and listening and talking, but it's about you gifting something to the audience. So first, you know your audience. Second, you listen to their needs. So these are two things that is actually like a pre-prep before you actually talk and present. Just like you can see, I have a lot of notes from a few days. I have been preparing this for a few days already. And of course, I prepare more. I don't like to do last minute. Um, but when you are doing these kind of webinars, you are actually now the director, the producer, and the artist. So you have to make sure that first you know what you're going to talk about. So you have a blueprint. This is my blueprint. This is my script. My script usually when I'm hosting an event is printed out, not handwritten, but this has to be done this way for me for this webinar because it's only half an hour. And of course, I make sure that because you are the director now and you're the producer, you have to make sure that the light is relatively good on your face so that people can see you, that people can hear you. And I did test my camera beforehand just to make sure. And I know you might think this is common sense, but this is something that is very, very basic and very necessary for you to do. And practice how you sound. So you go into the cameras and you do a practice live video and you can click only me. So only you are the one that sees this video and you go back and take a look and you listen to how you sound. You look and see how you look. I know that sometimes we might be tempted because you're just sitting at home and you're very comfortable and you think, I can just wear my pajamas and I can just be super comfortable and I don't have to do anything. But you have to try to look presentable. Make sure your hair is out of your face. So I tied my hair up, and of course I did a bit more makeup than usual, just to look presentable and respectable because people have to look at you, right? You want to look decent. You don't have to look super gorgeous or super handsome, but you have to try and wear something that is like a light color, something that is maybe a friendly color. So I choose like a light blue, kind of in relation to the beautiful day outside, which is, blue and sunny. And this is a way for me to try to get a feeling for you, to get you to feel light, happy, and positive, because that is always my goal, is to make my audience happy and to make them feel comfortable, because it is always about making others feel comfortable. Otherwise, there is no point for you to speak, because they will not be listening to what you have to say at all. Hello, for those who have joined. I just wanted to go back. I am actually doing presenting tips for the first time live with you. So I'm very, very happy. Now, going back, so first, you have to know your audience. Second, you have to make sure that you try to be friendly and interactive. Third, you have to listen. Listen to what your audience wants and want to hear. You cannot be everything for everybody, but my skill, the only thing that I can really share or teach is public speaking and presenting. That's what I'm good at. I wouldn't dare to teach anything else, because I don't have the experience to teach, and I don't want to, be a phony. But you are the director, producer, and artist of your own show. So you have to make sure that you have already checked the lighting, check the sound, check your connection, check your look, listen to yourself, see how you look, and practice your speech. Now, I know many people might get scared on camera. So let's do an exercise together, okay? Let's do an exercise together, and don't worry about, what other people think. Most of the time, I'm assuming nobody's around you because you're at home alone or you're with your family. Let's do a breathing exercise. This is what I always do to calm my mind, to clear the thoughts from my mind before I go on stage, before I go and do the filming for my shows, and before I do these chats. So let's breathe in and try to breathe all the way down to your stomach, and then slowly breathe out. And you can hear your breath when you're breathing out. So breathe in again. And do this 3 more times. I usually do it with my mouth closed, but if you feel really tense, you feel very scared or very nervous, you breathe out with your mouth open. One more time. You might be asking me, okay, Abel, hurry it up. I want to know some presenting tips. Like, all you have been talking about is what you do before you present. And that is what makes someone, I believe, really good at what they do, because they actually take the time to do the preparation before they go live, before they go on stage. People are spending time to listen to you. You have to be very careful in the message that you want to deliver. It's got to be clear. They have to get away with one message, one key message. And what is that key message? Is first, what I'm teaching you now is to be a good, prepare, to do a good preparation before you go on stage. Try to speak as genuine and as natural as you can. Try to not speak too fast because you're nervous, and that's why you have to practice. That's why you have to practice and listen to yourself. If I'm doing a really huge event, I practice a month before. I do my script writing and everything a month before. If it's a event that I have, that I do regularly, which is a normal event, I do a week or 10 days before. But I always try to listen to myself. I look in the mirror and I look at how I speak, how I look, and how do I pace myself. You know, when you listen to a singer, you never hear them speak like blah, 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 blah. Like it's never monotone, right? It's always got a rhythm to it. It's got a nice flow to it. So you have to try to listen to see how you sound, how you flow. You know, I have prepared so many points that I don't even have time to share because I'm already over 15 minutes and I should be talking about empathic communications. But let me do a little bit more of the presenting skills. So everything you do beforehand, you research, you go through your ideas, you listen to your audience and you understand what is it that they need. You have a script that you have written down so that you can always go back so that you don't deviate from your points because there's always a limited time that you have to do your speaking. And sometimes when we don't practice in advance, we don't know how long it requires us to speak. So it's very, very important to practice. Breathe. Breathing is so important to prepare your mind because you should not be thinking when you're speaking, especially when you're live. You should be present 100% with your audience so that they know that you are there with them, that you're not like thinking about something else. This takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. And of course, when you first go on stage or when you first start, you have to make sure you connect first. If you do not connect and you go straight to the point, people are not going to listen. So this is something that I always do. This is very, very important. The first 2 minutes or 1 minute when you're on stage, when you're connecting, is you are there for your audience. You're going to ask them, hi, how are you guys doing today? And most of the time, the audience is not going to expect you to ask them questions. They expect you to speak at them, not speak with them. And I always make sure that the people know that I'm there with them, that they are not just to be spoken at, that I'm there with them. So I would always ask the question again. Yes, I did ask your question. How is everybody doing today? And I say it in a slow way with a big smile. And I use my hands. I use my hands, and my hands is always usually like open. I don't close it like this so that people feel welcome. When you open your hands, it's actually, it means that you are open to them and that you are genuine. And smile, smile, be genuine, connect before you deliver anything. And I'm not going to go into how to deliver messages because that takes a lot of practice. And you're going to have to take one of my classes like your students in year 12 and 13. But try to be yourself, be natural. Don't need to pretend. You can say ums and ahs and things like that, especially when you're doing these kinds of chats, video chats, because this is not you're not presenting for an organizer or a client. I'm not doing that for them at the moment. I'm doing this to teach something, to share a skill. So it has to become naturally. And so it's okay to say ums and ahs and things like that because you are just speaking naturally as if you're speaking to someone across at a coffee shop. So let me conclude in this segment, which I have gone almost 19 minutes now, in presenting tips. And of course, I can do another one of these, to teach you how in a more detailed way. But just to reiterate what I just said, the most important about presenting is to prepare, to have a blueprint, so to have a script, and to understand your audience, so who you are speaking to, so that you know how to speak to them. And of course, you have to do the basic checking, practice, watch yourself on the camera just to see how you sound, how you look, and listen to yourself speak so that you know that you sound all right. Breathe before you start to calm your mind, to clear your mind, and always remember to smile. to smile with your audience, to connect, to ask them, hi, how are you doing today? And ask in a genuine way, not just to ask it so that you can hurry up and go into what you want to sell them or what you want to present to them or give to them. It is not something to get over. This is the whole journey. This is a process. And the whole thing should be enjoyable for the audience. So make sure that you're trying your best to do something that is enjoyable for the audience. So this is the first 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, 20 minutes already passed. It's so quick. So quick, my goodness. I mean, I took more time preparing this than I have time to speak. So now let's jump into the other segments of what I want to share with you today, and that is communications. I know we're all on the same boat. We are all quarantined. You must have days, times when you're just complaining to yourself, like, what am I gonna do? Gosh, this sucks. You know, I mean, you have to, I mean, we're human. We have to go through the thoughts and the feeling, and then the speaking, and then the action, right? You must have times when you're not feeling very positive, you're not feeling very well. And yesterday, I promised you that I would share a story of having empathy, compassion, self compassion for myself. And so let me share the story with you. And this is also another way for you to show um, your vulnerability to your audience. Audience people actually, I mean, people actually connect when you show your vulnerability to them. So this is another way that you can use to connect with your audience as well, is to share something personal. And I'll try to make this as quick as possible without, going off the point. I grew up in a culture which is Hong Kong and America, which is very much about making money, being somebody, like having status, having title, having some kind of security. Let me ask you, do you feel secure right now if you don't have passive income? If most people are not working. I am not working right now. I don't have events to host. Uh, and people tend to associate who they are to situations that happen to them, to conditioning of thought. So I used to think that, you know what, Abel, you're nobody if you do not become somebody, if you do not become successful in something in your life, if you don't have titles, if you don't make a certain amount of money, then you are nobody. And I used to be really harsh on myself because I attached who I thought I was to outer things, situations. I used to think of myself as a victim um, of my past, of having no freedom, having to work really, really hard as a kid at my parents' restaurant. Even though I felt the compassion for my parents that I have to help them, I also resented working at a restaurant. And I'm saying this because my parents know this already, so I'm not worried about them, watching this video. But I used to call myself a victim of having to work since I was a kid. I used to call myself a victim of racism because I dealt with a lot of racism when I moved from Hong Kong to US at the age of 10. So the first 3 or 4 years, I dealt with a lot of judgment, a lot of racism. And as a kid, when you are going through your puberty, all you care about is, do people like me? Do you like me? I really want you to like me. I want to have friends. I want people to like me. So this is one of my really big insecurities that I have to overcome is I care too much about what people think of me. And I care about being liked. I really, really, really care about that. And it's difficult to be a presenter when you care too much about how people see you. So you have to overcome that um, that judgment. So how do I overcome that? I, through many, many years of mistake or caring too much about what people think, I have to come to accept myself as I am. So at this point in time, when we're all quarantined, you cannot link who you believe yourself to be to what is happening to you, because you are not your situation. You are not anything that's outside of you. You are not your titles. You're not the roles that you play. You are not how much money you make. You are not what people tell you that you are. You just are. You just am. You are a soul. You are a spirit. Okay, you don't have to be spiritual, but you are so much more than what people may say you are. And you have to understand that this is a situation that you are in. You are not the situation. My neighbor, just right here, my neighbor committed suicide because he had gone bankrupt. And I actually saw him hung himself after he passed away because I saw all these ambulances and cars in front of my house and I had no idea what was going on. And I see the aftermath of what happened to his wife and his two daughters after he did that, because he could not separate who he is with the situation that he's in. So first, you have to keep a routine. You have to try to set up a routine so that you feel you have some normality in your life. When I wake up in the morning, I don't really watch the news. I do not watch the news, even though I was a news anchor, a news presenter. I do not watch the news because watching the news, 95% of it is negative, and I'm not going to start my day with negative news, and I already know what they're going to say. Oh, today we have more cases of people suffering from coronavirus, and how many more people died, and in many more countries. I mean, this is almost like, hello, I know this is going to happen. I know this is what they're going to tell me, and it's going to make me feel bad. So I'm going to protect my well being. I'm going to protect how I feel by not watching the news, because my husband already tells me now it's in, this country, now it's in this country, and Rawai is closed, Patong is closed, Caron is closed, the beach is closed, everything is shutting down. And okay, you have to control your thoughts and tell yourself, okay, this is what it is. What am I going to do to start my day great? Just like what Eric does. Eric and Suzanne. Awesome. I do yoga. They start your day with an exercise routine. That is a great way to start your day. After you have breakfast, or even before you have breakfast, drink plenty of water. Start with a positive thought. And don't worry and don't think and linger on worrying about things that you have no control over. You have to accept the situation as it is and tell your mind, I'm not going to let an outer situation stay in my mind for too long. I'm not going to watch certain news that is going to make me feel stressed or anxious. I'm going to protect my well being. So I start my day with yoga. When I'm doing yoga, I'm focusing on my body, on balance, and on my breath. And then after that, I go have my breakfast, or I go have a shower, I go have lunch. And then by that time, it's already 1 o'clock. And then do whatever you like. If you like to cook, cook. If you like to fix things around the house, if you want to spend time with your kid, maybe do some homework with them, some activities, play some games with them. I like to write in my diary. I'm doing blogging on my website. Do whatever that you feel is a way for you to meditate. And meditation is not always about sitting in a lotus position and trying to calm your mind. For me, meditation can be being on stage where I am forced to not think about anything. I am forced to be there on the stage with my audience delivering a message. So in my mind, I'm not thinking at all. I'm just doing a task. I am just the mediator. I am the messenger of releasing and giving and gifting a message to the audience. And that's it. I'm not, thinking about anything. So some people cook, some people exercise, Some people do extreme sports, which force them to stop thinking. That is all a way of meditation. So, how good is the quality of your thoughts, and how are you communicating with yourself so that you have compassion for yourself and you're not too harsh on yourself? And that is the start of self-compassion, is to release who you thought you are or the situation that is happening to you in the past, and accepting it and going with the flow and trying to keep a positive mind and using the present moment to do something positive for your future without keeping anxiety and worry in your mind. Do something proactive right now, because you are not living in the past and you cannot live in the future in this present time. So thank you so much. I hope that maybe I have more chance to elaborate more on certain points now that you know what I'm going to talk about. I have already gone past my 30-minute time limit. I hope to see you again next time. If you have any questions, you can contact me on my Facebook page, MC Abel Wanamakog, or on my personal page, Abel Falk, or Find Your Voice Asia. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed today's talk, and I hope that you learned something from me. Have a great day. Stay safe. Sawadee ka.